Well, hello and good morning, students of grade 4. I hope that you're safe back home and enjoying this period of time by your family. And as I always say that please stay home and stay safe, wash your hands every now and then, and always put the face mask. Well, this is going to be class 2 or recorded class number 2 of literacy for grade 4. And in this class, we're going to discuss one of the stories of the book, which is Where the Mountain Meets the Moon. This lesson is going to be storytelling. We're going to tell the story, and in the coming lesson we're going to go to the exercises all together. So all what I need from you is your full attention. Grab your learner's book and open page 16. Pause the video, get the book, open page 16, and let's get started. Okay. Where the mountain meets the moon. This story was explained for some of you, and now for those who I haven't explained the story for them, this is going to be the first time. For those who I have already explained the story for, it's going to be a revision. So let's get started. Chapter 1. It's an extract of the story. It's not the full story, just extract of it. Okay, your full attention, please. Where the mountain meets the moon. Far away from here, following the Jade River, there was once a black mountain that cut into the sky like a jagged piece of rough metal. The story is set in or near one of the mountains, and it was near a river called the Jade River. The mountain was very high, and it cut into the sky, as if it cut into the sky. That means as if you feel that the mountain, crosses the sky, and it's like a jagged piece of rough metal. It was sharp, like this. So imagine this is the mountain. It was very sharp, like a rough metal, like a tough metal, strong metal. The villagers called it Fruitless Mountain. The name of that mountain was the Fruitless Mountain. Why? Because nothing grew on it, and birds and animals did not rest there. Nothing grew in that mountain. Nothing grows in there, and even the birds and animals do not go there to have rest. They avoid it. Crowded in the corner of where Fruitless Mountain and Jade River met was a village that was a shade of faded brown. There was a village near that mountain, and it was the color of faded brown. Faded brown is the like light brown, not strong brown, not a strong color. This was because the land around the village was hard and poor. The land around the village, the land that they grow in, it was hard, very tough and difficult to dig in, and it was poor also. Poor, that means there are no trees there are no flowers, there is nothing. To coax rice out of the stubborn land, the fields had to be flooded with water. If you'd like to get the rice from that land, they used to grow the rice and they eat the rice. But to get the rice from that land, they need to flood the whole land with water. It's just going to be water. The villagers had to tramp in the mud, bending and stooping and planting day after day. So the villagers, the people of the village, had to walk on the mud, the mud, the dirt and water when they mix together. So the villagers had to walk on the mud. Stooping and bending, stooping like they don't walk straight, they stoop and bend. Working in the mud made it spread everywhere, and the hot sun dried it onto their clothes and hair and homes. Because they are working in mud, so it was like the mud was everywhere, like in their clothes, on their clothes and on their hair, okay, and even their village. They take the mud with them to the village. So the village was full of mud. And over time, things in the village had become the dull color of dried mud. And when the time gone on or went on, the whole village was that color of that mud. One of the houses in the village was so small that its wood boards held together by the roof, made one thing of a bunch of matches tied with a piece of twine. The houses of the village were very small. You feel like the one of them is like the box of matches. You know, matches is what we use for fire, okay, to make or to set a fire with matches. The box of match is so small. So, as if that they are tied together with a piece of twine. Inside there was barely enough room for 3 people to sit around the table, which was lucky because all the 3 people lived there. In the houses, it was very difficult for 3 people to live together. I mean, it was very small. And in this story, the characters are all the 3, and they are in one house. One of them was a young girl called Millie. Now the central character, or the main character here, is called Millie. Millie lived with her family, with her father and mother, only 3 of them. That's all. Millie was not brown and dull like the rest of the village. She had glossy black hair with pink cheeks, shining eyes, always eager for adventure, and a fast smile. Well, Millie was not like the rest of the villagers. She was not dull like them. She was not sad. By the way, dull means sad or gloomy. Let's say sad. Millie was not sad like them, okay? And she has glossy black hair. Her hair was shiny. And pink cheeks, her cheeks were pink. Shining eyes, always eager for adventure, and her eyes were always shining, as if that she's waiting for adventure, and a fast smile that flashed from her face. And she had a smile, she was always smiling, and as if that the smile is a light coming out of her mouth. When people saw her lively and impulsive spirit, they thought her name, which meant quick thinking, suited her well. Millie, according to their language, means quick thinking. And when people saw Millie, they thought that this name is perfectly suits her, is good for her. Too well. Her mother sighed, as Millie had a habit of quick acting as well. She was always also a quick actor, and her mother used to sigh. Ma sighed a great deal, a lot. To sigh means it's like, this is called sighing. So her mother, Millie's mother, used to sigh a lot. An impatient noise usually accompanied with a frown at the rough clothes, run-down house, or meager food. She was sighing, the mother was always sighing because of the food was not enough, their rough clothes, their bad and dirty clothes, and the run-down house, the bad house, the small house, the house that is about to collapse or to fall down. She was sighing because of these things. Millie could not remember a time when Ma didn't sigh. It often made Millie wish she had been called a name that meant gold or fortune instead. Millie thought that, I wish if my name was like gold or fortune, money, because if that was her name, maybe she would like help her family. Because Millie and her parents, like the village and the land around them, were very poor. Millie and her parents, her mother and father, were completely poor. They don't have any money. And they're living a poor life, like the rest of the villagers, like the rest of the people in the village. They were barely able to harvest enough rice and feed themselves. The rice, the food that they have, was not enough for them to eat. And the only money in the house was 2 old copper coins that sat in a blue rice bowl with a white rabbit painted on it. The only money in the house was 2 coins only, and they were in a bowl, and the coins and the bowl belonged to Millie, and the 2 coins belonged to Millie. They had been given to her when she was a baby, and she had had them for as long as she could remember. She had that money, she had that 2 coins, those 2 coins since she was a little baby, and since then the money is with her. What kept Millie from becoming dull and brown like the rest of the village were the stories her father told her every night at dinner. Now this is a question. Why Millie? Well, now the question here, why Millie was not like the rest of the villagers? Why she was not dull or sad like them? It's actually the stories her father told her every night at dinner. Her father used to tell her stories, and she likes those stories so much. She glowed with such wonder and excitement that even Ma would smile, though she would shake her head at the same time. Even Ma, who sighs always, when father starts to tell Millie stories and she sees that Millie was very happy, even Ma used to smile, but she shakes her head at the same time. Uh, But seemed to drop his grey and work weariness. His black eyes sparkled like raindrops in the sun when he began a story. Even Bob liked to tell Minley stories, and when he starts telling her stories, he forgets about his tiredness and the long day at work and all these things, and he feels happy telling his little daughter the stories. But tell me the story about Fruitless Mountain again, Millie would say as her mother spooned their plain rice into pots while they sit for the dinner. Millie asked her father, please tell me the story of the Fruitless Mountain. And tell me again why nothing grows in it. Ah, Millie's father said, you've heard this so many times, you know. Her father used to tell her, you heard this story already, you know it. But Millie begs him and she says, tell me again, Bob, please. Okay, he said, and as he sat down, his chopsticks, his smile twinkled in a way that Millie loved. And when he starts the story, he feels happy, and Millie likes that so much, and she sits down to hear or to listen to the story. Now, this is the end of it. I actually going to, for the next class, I'm going to explain the questions and the exercise for you, and you're going to do it yourselves. Till then, wish you all the best. Stay safe, protect your family, and protect yourselves, and take care. Wish you all the best. See you later, alligator. Bye for now.